Hey there. Welcome to the podcast. You're tuned into Let's Talk About X. My name is Hunter, although most know me as Trash and Treasure over on Twitch and YouTube. That's where I variety stream games that are long lost classics or for forgotten relics or just big piles of shit. Honestly, that's what it, hence the name Trash and Treasure, you know? But that's that. And this is this. This is episode 1 of the show. And so, fair warning, it's going to be rough. It's going to be pretty rough as I kind of stumble through and figure out what it needs to be, how I want it to be, etc. It's going to be tuned kind of on the fly for the most part. In fact, you'll probably notice as the show goes along later and later, there'll probably be a few jump cuts and whatnot as I take out what I don't want and move stuff around. But that's that. That's why I'm here explaining it before we really get into it. On today's episode, it is episode 1, I decided to bring on some guests. I brought on 3 of guests who will be showing up more and more in future episodes. So I figured let's get them on. Let's introduce them early. Let's get any viewers watching or listening to know the 4 of us, because that's going to be who you're going to be dealing with moving forward. But that said, because I'm introducing everyone and the show and whatnot, there will be no topic. There will be no topic. Much like how Trash and Treasure is indicative of the games I stream, Let's Talk About X is indicative of the podcast I'm going to be putting on. Mainly because each episode is going to be focused on one specific topic that I would like to say is like, oh, no one's ever talked about this before, but who the fuck knows? I mean, everyone and their aunt has a podcast now, right? There's a lot of stuff being talked about out there. And I'm just hoping to maybe have a new angle, maybe talk about shit that isn't being talked about. Who the fuck knows, right? I guess it's also probably a good time to bring up the fact that for those who haven't seen any of my content, I'm a dirty boy. I like to work blue, as they say. Blue. Oh, holy fuck. Can you imagine anyone who doesn't know me watching that shit? They're like, oh, what the fuck? This guy's fucking corny. Holy shit. No, I do swear a lot. I do use nasty language. And also a lot of my jokes I say are pretty raunchy intentionally, because I just like not like angry or mean or nothing, but it's just I just like fun, like taking shit to the extremes is funny, especially when people are like, oh, awkward about it. So just a heads up, if you're not into that kind of content, unfortunately, I will miss you, but maybe you shouldn't be hanging around here then. I would hate to ruin anyone's day by me having a good time. you know Anyway, enough of that shit. Enough of that. Because now everyone's watching is probably like, holy fuck, do I want to see this? Well, listen, let me rope you back in. Let me talk about my guest today before we get into it. I brought on 3 people today, like I said, who are going to be in more and more future episodes. I brought in Aurethious. Aurethious there is also a streamer on Twitch, and he also produces content for YouTube, and he has a podcast of his own, which I've been on, so it makes sense to have him on. Jesus, scratch my back, I'll lick your balls. And so it's funny with him too. He's more of a family friendly guy, and I believe that comes up in the discussion later on here, which has already been recorded. Like I said, it's going to be this first episode is going to be rough, right? But he's a fantastic guy. We also have Zexxios here today. Zexxios streams on Twitch, streams on YouTube, and I think streams on Facebook. The Facebook one I'm iffy about. I don't remember. I don't remember per se. But he's all over the place. And once again, super nice guy. I've known both those guys for like 3 years now. In fact, we're part of a group called the Ion Game Corner Discord. I'm not plugging it per se. Don't worry, this isn't a sales pitch. But I'm just saying that's where we pooled all our fan bases together, just because it's just that much funner. It's almost like a team situation. But we get to mix, and there's community nights, all sorts of events, tournaments. There's like Pokemon leagues, Minecraft servers, just League of Legends teams. Oh my God, it's good stuff. But anyway, all that was pretty much to say I've just known those guys for quite a few years now, 3 years now, I think. And so we just jive really well. So it's great to have them out I do appreciate it. Zex is a lot fucking dirtier than Aurethious. I'm just saying that too. Watch that. As the episode goes along, you're gonna see a lot of Aurethious trying not to like laugh because he's like, I'm above this. You're gonna see him cracking, you know. And same thing with Zexxios too. Me and Zexxios are gonna have the exact opposite. He's not. He's gonna be sitting there fucking playing the spoons, just cracking up, eh? That's good. They're like the yin and yang, you know. Also joining us too will be the Lad. Now, Lad doesn't stream. He doesn't. Well, no, he does every once in a while post like weird video. Like he's got a presence, but he doesn't. He's not a creator, I would say. He's a netizen. He's a lurker. But I've known him for ages. Like I would pretty much say the majority of my life, I've known him. So fantastic guy, him too. Me and him have synergy. We got fucking Team Speed, for Christ's sake. You know? And so it's always good to have him on. Did that clap loud? Did I blast that right in your ear? Jesus, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, this episode's gonna be rough. So that said, we have guests on. I've introduced the guests. Episode 1 is going to be rough. No topic, although it's going to be a lot of video games. Just a heads up. Fair is fair. It's going to be a lot of video games. You got 3 streamers and then another guy who just likes video games. A lot of video game talk, episode 1. But going forward, it's not going to be that. It's going to be just a whole bunch of randoms. I already got a huge list of stuff I want to talk about, and I think I saw other video games on there maybe like once or twice of a list like this already 10 topics long. So hopefully for future episodes, you come in, tune in, check it out. And I hope to see you then, whether you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this on Spotify. Anyway, with that said, what we're going to do is we're going to slide on over to the guests now. We're going to slide right on over into the full proper podcast. I just wanted to get that out of the way, kind of set it up and explain it. There's a lot of oddities in this episode, and it's the first, you know, so I'm very happy. Thank you for checking me out. I hope you give me more of a chance as I hone this and turn this into something truly nice, truly something I can enjoy. So until then, have yourself a good one, and let's slide on over. Let's go join the fun. Anyway, welcome to the podcast. You're tuned in to Let's Talk About X. Wow, that's a real catchy name. It sounds catchy when you read it, but for me to say it just now, that was really awkward, wasn't it? That was very jarring. I'm here with a couple of friends, a couple of friendies. We have Aurethious, we have Zexxios, and we have the Lad. How's it going, gentlemen?
Good. How you doing, sir?
Exactly. There's no intro, boys. I'm a fucking. It's going to be really rough. Episode 0 is going to be very rough. I should explain. So, Let's Talk About X podcast. My plan is this: I talk, I ramble, I have no point in life. What I'm hoping to do is channel that into just discussing random topics of interest. Each episode will be laser focused on a specific topic. However, this is episode 0. There is no laser focused topic. I just wanted to introduce these 3 gentlemen here because they'll probably be showing up more often than not in future episodes, as much as I can rope them in and convince them. And so that's what it is. No real topics today, just meeting the gang, so to speak. So how does that sound to you guys? Are you guys cool with that?
Sounds like wonderful. Sounds wonderful.
So with that said, how many donkey shows have you guys clicked on? Go ahead now. Everyone's like, is he doing jokes? Is he being real? I can't tell.
One by mistake.
One by mistake. There's no such thing as the one by mistake. It's one by curiosity. 2 by mistake, sure. 1 is curiosity every time.
How is two by mistake?
You're 2 by mistake. Yeah, exactly. You shoot past the one you see and you go, wow, that's what it is. And then you sit there and years later you go, nah, I must have misremembered that. Let me go back. That can't be right. That can't be right. One time, I got a funny story here. One time, I was in grade 5 on the school computers. And a funny flash animation where it was like Final Fantasy characters and they were singing a song like Final Fantasy is an RPG. And it was really cute. I bookmarked it onto my account's bookmarks. Right now, apparently the website it was on, because I didn't know, was styleproject.com. Does anyone remember that website?
No.
It was
No.
it was chainless. It was one of those things. It was early internet days. Anything could be on there. So when I went back to the bookmark one day, the video was gone and it was just porn as far as the eye can see. And I'm grade 5. I'm panicking. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get into trouble. What do you think I do? I fucking go and I grab the teacher and I pull her over the computer.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
Miss, there's naked people on my computer. And of course, I'm confessing. And this is the part that pisses me off. I'm confessing. I'm not confessing. I'm saying, like, listen, look at this. What's going on here? And I'm the one who gets hauled down to the office for looking at that stuff. What the fuck?
So on the topic of donkey shows, does Clerks 2 count? Because I've seen Clerks 2 a couple of times, so that could count as like twice. Because there is technically a donkey show in it. It's not the raunchy one, but that's the only thing I can think of.
Is it the soft core of donkey porn? That fucking
it is. Yeah, it is.
Too? The man, he what was it, Kinky Kelly and the something stud or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. That is a tough one. I mean, I used to back in the day on cable there, on channel 35. I mean, that's just regional specific. No one knows. It was on Showcase. They would have softcore porn at night, like Sin City, where a guy goes around and tours prostitute joints. Or the best ones were Emmanuel in space. Emmanuel sucks Dracula. Like, it's a real softcore shitty awfulness. But that was just the worst dry humping ever. Like, if you had to think about it, now that I'm older, that dude's dick was like in her belly button. Like, it's just some of the worst dry humping ever. But that was pretty
now
pornic.
Now that Crash is a porn connoisseur.
Well, this is it. Now that I've honed my craft, I have triple folded porn knowledge, 1,000 times folded. Aurethious, what's your first porn experience? Come on, buddy. You're a little quiet over there.
This is not my topic of conversation.
This is not.
This is my favorite part. Okay, we made it through the entire Arena of Aurethious podcast, and the only thing that happened was I said, did I say shit or fuck? I don't remember which one. It was shit, right?
Probably shit.
And in the first 30 seconds of this podcast, we've already covered like well past that.
You know, if you go far, you can cover anything in between, right? I didn't even really do good intros. Maybe I should reintroduce everyone better here, but let's start with Aurethious. Aurethious streams on Twitch and produces content for YouTube and has a podcast of his own called Arena of Aurethious, all of which I would dub as fair to say family friendly, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Family friendly seems like, to me in my world, it seems almost insulting, but not really. It is what it is. Anyone can listen.
That's kind of the idea for me, is that a lot of it is because the bulk of my early content was centered around Pokemon, which does have a younger skewing demographic.
Although,
so I figure
I've seen plenty of porn of Pokemon. Let's be fair. All right. Go ahead though.
But the stuff that I do, so it's basically that's just the idea, is that because it does tend to skew a little bit younger, that I want to make sure that if I am doing content that would attract a younger audience, that I not necessarily cater to it, but at least be welcoming to it.
Well, no, that and there's like I obviously I've listened to all the episodes. Like, it's not like someone like me. I have, maybe, I don't know, how do I say this once again while being fair, like a little edge to the content I typically, but it's totally, your content's totally, it's not soft, it's just clean. Like, I don't know, like I said, when I hear family friendly, immediately I go, ugh. It's like hearing like a movie's PG-13, like a horror movie. You just go, ugh. Zex, you know a thing about that. You're a horror movie connoisseur. How upset were you when you saw RoboCop? The new RoboCop remake was PG-13. Immediately you go, ugh.
I do remember hearing that, and I was like, ugh, well, I can't really be RoboCop then, because I need somebody's head to explode, like in the original.
Exactly. I need a dude turn to fucking raw meat, man. You know?
Yeah.
I need somebody to get exploded by a car.
Oh yeah, exactly. Do you guys remember Toxic Avenger when he comes out of the gym and he gets hit by that car and he just turns to like diarrhea and brains? It's just he just turns to shit. You know? But
I have never seen that.
no, you gotta check out Toxic Avengers. It's pretty. It's a trauma film, so pretty good, and yeah, it's just enjoyable little watch. But yeah, speaking of Zexxios, I guess too, Zexxios also is a creator of content, primarily on Twitch, we'll say. Although you do skitter out here and there to YouTube and Facebook for a while, and
I don't do anything fancy on YouTube though. It's just another stream target.
that's fair. Yeah, exactly.
As is Facebook. YouTube's for ease of archive since they don't delete anything like Twitch does. So,
Although, isn't it? Can't you save your stuff to Twitch? Isn't it like
but
an
that
option?
requires me to actually do it manually, which I don't want to do.
Holy shit! The amount of work. The amount of work.
I like to automate things, man. That's my deal. I don't want to have to do anything manual.
Don't worry. Like I said, I'm gonna go through and cut out what I need to cut out.
I have a feeling that's not going to get cut. So I don't care.
What are you gonna
I feel
do?
like in 2022, admitting that you have pirated anything is not that big of a deal.
I can't imagine. It's just
Oh,
part and
no.
parcel. Like, do you remember when pirating first took off? It was because everything was just so overpriced. It wasn't a whole lot of selection, but everything was just so overpriced. So pirating took off. And then streaming services started picking up, but they were still cheap, so pirating dropped off. And now streaming services are getting there's so much of them. They're so expensive because you gotta have 8 of them. Pirating's up again, It's fucking
exactly. I haven't pirated a game since I fully invested in Steam. Like after I got on the Steam train,
yeah.
I haven't pirated a single game since then. But yeah.
I think for me, I tried pirating a game maybe like a year and a half ago, and that was I think you guys know what happened that night.
Your computer got completely shit on.
And not it didn't even just get compromised; it got like hacked, like legitimately hacked. Where all of a sudden I had 3 VPN portals open on my shit. I saw like stuff moving itself on my screen. I'm like, and like a fucking
the cross-out server. So.
There was Russian something going on. They fucking planned their Ukraine invasion on my computer. The fucking assholes. And then me being like the tech illiterate guy I am, I'm like, what do I do? And I literally just yanked the internet cord out of my computer for it. That was my go-to plan. Stop, get out of there. No,
Hey, it works.
it worked.
And then you plug it back in, and then it's right back to being fucked again. But
well, at least it gave me some time to, because you can, without it, I was still able to run a couple of clears and whatnot, and like cry a bit, fucking curl up on the ground fetal position. But I did eventually get it up and running, and it's still what I use today. Nothing's wrong with it. I don't think. It's weird seeing my camera light turn on every once in a while, but everything's fine otherwise.
they're getting that nice fat blackmail package for you. every time you sit in front of the camera naked, that gets added to the file.
No, see, that's the funny part. Every time the camera's on, they see a fat black package, fat blackmail package. Look at Aurethious trying not to fucking cry. He didn't want to laugh at that. He was just like, fuck. Speaking.
It's just the laughing of the. Sometimes you just find yourself in a situation and you just have to laugh.
I
It's
abhor at that comment, but
how did I get here?
exactly. Lad's laughter is just so contagious. Speaking of fat black packages, Lad is also here with us today. How you doing, Lad?
That was the best transition ever.
Exactly.
I didn't know I had a fat black package on me.
I heard when you were born, they were like, "Holy shit, we need to circumcise this lad. Do you have a big ring? No, but we do have a ravioli can. It'll have to do." They got
That's just a myth.
yeah, they got a pizza cutter to ruler out. Like, holy shit, holy
Like
shit.
Branch trimmers from Home Depot.
yeah, exactly. They got a fucking Ryobi bandsaw. Like, holy shit, hold him still, please, God, chicken.
Get the weed whacker.
It looks like Three Stooges. They get that old saw out, the rusty saw. Hey, smarten up, kid. Whack. But yes, that is the world's longest intro of our three guests. 15 minutes to get everyone introduced. Yeah.
I mean, it was necessary to get all the pertinent information out there.
Yeah.
I thought so. Yes, all the circumcision jokes, all the Russian hack jokes. What's a topic I can do planned out here? Like, hell, you three. What do you think about the Riddler trophies from Batman?
I knew this was going to come up. I knew it couldn't go
See?
more than 30 minutes without mentioning the Riddler. Trophy.
No, we made it 15 minutes. Exactly 15 minutes for Riddler trophies. Well, it's funny because, Aurethious is kind of with me on the Riddler trophies. Hates him, right? You love him. You love him. Yeah, you're saying like that's what makes it game of the year. Lad loves that whole series.
No.
Yeah, that's what you said. You were like, dude, that game's one of the best games ever made. Top 10 of all time, probably. You said Riddler trophies.
Not because of the Riddler trophies, though. Not at all because of the Riddler trophy.
Are you walking back your comment?
No. You are taking my comments out of context.
Are you saying 15 minutes into my podcast, I'm already fake news?
Yep.
Who's gonna remove themselves from Spotify for my podcast? Who?
I guess
Neil Diamond.
Again.
Aurethious cancels his own podcast from Spotify. Yeah, exactly. I just can't be partnered.
I can't be on the same platform as this.
Exactly. The same platform. Asshole, weren't you on the same episode? No. You got the fucking bandit mascot.
No, that wasn't me.
Lad, you
Really,
love.
I gotta shut my light off, do like the shadow thing, and do the voice disorder. So like
He
witness protection program stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I can't believe I said what he said. He coerced me with promises of fucking wrestling conversation.
I really have to be polite.
Yeah, exactly. He's helping out by running a Pokemon tournament. I figured I'd pay it back somehow. Lad, you love that. You would say the Batman series is probably in your top 10. What do you feel about Riddler trophies? We never got your opinion on them.
I am right down the middle on them.
Dirty fence sitter. Why? What? Okay, wait a sec.
I kind of like them though, but they are a pain in the ass to get.
What do you like about them?
It's just exploring the world and all that, using the new gadgets. But it is a pain in the ass to get. I have collected Riddler trophies in almost every game except for Arkham City.
Right.
Because I was doing it, I'm like, this is just too much, though. I got to switch back and forth between two different characters. It was pointless in that game.
What's the second character you play in fucking City?
Catwoman.
Yeah, some of them you can't get because you have to crawl on ceilings, and only Catwoman can do that. So
Catwoman can crawl on ceilings?
Yeah, I don't know why Batman couldn't just fucking get it, but they're red. They're red Riddler trophies, not green. So you have to get them with Catwoman.
That makes even less sense.
They electric shock you even if you try to grab them.
Yeah.
But Catwoman can touch them fine. Because cats are not
So
electric.
she's covered in a different kind of leather, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, her rubber
like
underwear.
Batman is the greatest detective in the world and couldn't figure out how to, get it anyway, but whatever.
No, it's not like Batman has endless money and resources at his fucking skills, trained by ninjas in a fucking shitty Tibetan fucking prison. No, not at all. Fuck him. He's not like the white ninja with a fucking gun. No, never. That one time. Although let's be realistic. When you see, like, I love Batman out of all of them. I don't like superheroes that much, but Batman's universe I like because there's not a whole lot of superpowers. A lot of it is mostly just mental illness, which is great. The few superpowers actually ruin it. Like Ra's al Ghul. What's his name? Ra's al Ghul. Yeah. He sucks. Norman Grundy.
He doesn't even have any powers. He's just got a Lazarus pit. That's different.
Yeah.
No. Ra's al Ghul, isn't he the guy who's like an infinite magician? His daughter's a magician and everything?
No. He just lives forever due to his Lazarus pit.
Who am I thinking of then? I thought that
That's a little
was
supernatural, guys. I don't know.
yeah. Well, yeah,
The
yeah.
whole being immortal
The
thing, that
Lazarus
kind of
pit
counts.
itself is, but it's not like he has powers. Clayface has
I mean, we're
powers.
splitting hairs here.
Clayface is a good example. He has powers.
Okay, Clayface, sure, but wait a sec. No, well, Grundy was the guy who lived forever.
Solomon Grundy.
Solomon
Yes, I was
Grundy.
thinking.
So there's two immortal fucking villains.
But was Solomon Grundy? Did he originate in Batman, or was he a Superman villain originally? I don't remember.
I don't remember. I just know that he's
Don't know.
technically dead, though, but is brought back to life. Grundy.
Yeah, something with electricity. I don't know his backstory.
Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday.
Yeah, he was like a gangster who was killed and dumped in a swamp, and something about the swamp resurrected him.
That sounds right. So, like a LeBray tar pit sort of situation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, silliness. The whole thing's silliness. You know,
I guess Aurethious probably has the most comic knowledge out of all of us since he's a big Green Lantern.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know the level you guys. I wouldn't call myself the most knowledgeable. I know quite. I had a big phase like 10 or so years ago when I was big into a lot of the DC stuff and like Green Lantern especially, but
that sounds like you're denying it.
no, I'm just being honest. I don't want everyone to be like, "Oh my god, this guy's the comic book expert." No. I know enough to be dangerous, but I also know enough to be dangerous and say stupid things too, so.
Do you think Calendar Man has a 12-inch penis for each month? Do you think that's how that works, Aurethious, being the comic book guy? I don't know how that works.
It changes size depending on the date of the calendar.
Yeah, exactly. Every fucking
February is the shortest.
yeah, every 4 years, it's way fucking nice. Fuck me.
Leap over that year.
Yeah, exactly. I'll give you a fucking. I got nothing. I was gonna do something with the lunar solstice, and I couldn't think of anything to make it good. Think of anything to make it fucking funny. Shit, man. Well, shit. It's interesting too having all three of you on at the same time, because I feel outside of the Batman games, now every topic I can think of, two of the three will be behind. To get another topic with all three of you on is going to be tough. I think there's one more topic we can hit with all three of us, and this will just be simple, Simon, right? But what is like? Give me one at a time. Whoever wants to go first. Your top three video games of all time, and the other three will absolutely make fun of you on a prehistoric level. We're gonna fucking beat you up like cavemen. Logically, go ahead. Anyone who wants to start.
I mean, I guess I'll try and go first. I hate this question.
Why?
I always hate that idea of picking favorites because I always struggle with picking favorites of anything.
Okay.
So I like the
Alpha
fact that we're
randomizer, Ari.
yeah. The fact that we're narrowing it down to like three probably helps. So I guess for me, City of Heroes, because just the magnitude of time I've spent on that game is up there for me.
Fair.
On a similar vein, I guess you could say Pokemon if you consider the whole series instead of as an individual game.
I would, because fucking the games. Go ahead.
You want just the individual games?
Well, not really. I mean, I was gonna say with Pokemon, they're all the same fucking game anyway. Oh, Legends Arceus is different. Is it?
Yes, it is.
Shut up. Is it? That's like saying, is Final Fantasy Brave Exvius different? No, man. It's just it's the same shit.
No, I will grant that that's definitely a different experience than the standard Pokemon thing.
Yeah.
For better or for worse, depending. Like I think for casual players, it's a much better experience. For hardcores, you might be finding some things lacking, but
that's interesting considering it's a game where it's about repetition and building knowledge and stuff. You figure that would be someone for more lore focused.
Yeah, it's just the idea with that about it being just about a kind of a chill atmosphere of just going out and exploring and kind of doing things on your own speed and on your own time.
Yeah.
I think that's why I feel it's a better casual experience. I also think that there's maybe, and I haven't gone all the way through it yet, but there's might be just a more like breadth of things to do with it than there are in the mainline Pokemon games. It's, collect your little creatures, train them, get your badges, become the champion, and then after that, whatever you want to do to keep yourself busy.
Right.
But which mostly centers around either continuing to collect or getting into the whole competitive battling thing.
Or shiny
With-
hunting.
Right.
But shiny
with
hunting's
Legends-
huge.
I have no tolerance for it. But
Yeah.
I'll just create mine.
with Legends, there's all these individual little tasks to do for each Pokemon.
Sure.
So I think in that, like I said, in that sense, I think it's got more of a broad appeal than the mainline games might have.
Fair enough. I do got a question because there's no format here. Let's just pause the video game top list just for a Pokemon thing here. In one episode of the show, one specific episode, Meowth of Team Rocket is with a Miltank and has one of Miltank's udders, and is sucking it like a delicious cock. What other Pokemon milk would you drink? Everyone around the table. I think I'd be pretty good. Go with like double milk, goat milk sort of thing. That's pretty normalish.
Uh,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think trying to think of like actual like animals' milk that you would normally consume.
I do Nidoqueen milk.
I mean, that seems like a personal preference.
What? I mean, I'm just thinking like
Isn't it poison?
when I think milk. Oh, is it? Yeah, I guess it's poison type now, isn't it? Oh shit!
Yeah.
Thank God, Aurethious saving me. This is like drinking rat milk from Brazil. That's poison. Be drinking that shit.
Jinx.
Drinking Jinx, lifting that red skirt up, and it's like, oh, double slap. Oh, no, I'm just trying to get some milk.
Oh God! I just had the worst mental image.
Do you think like Clefairy would like fucking spit some of that out? Huh? Clefable, you squeeze it like it's like a giant. Like, come on, what do you got over a glass? You just squeeze it. It looks soft. It looks like it's got some
What about
marshmallow.
Chansey?
Chansey. Yeah, Chansey. Well, wait a sec. Ready?
You get eggs and milk from that.
Well, not only that, but like go in the same vein, right? Would you eat an execute?
Yes.
I don't know. Those eggs look rotten.
The one that's cracked open, maybe, sure. But that's like when you go to the store, you have to check your eggs before you buy them, right? Because
That's such a weird concept that they've never much addressed in the games. Because God, why would you?
why
But
would you?
like you never ever in any of the Pokemon games see any sort of animals aside from the Pokemon. Like you don't just see like normal dogs running around or normal cows running around. So it's like if these people are eating meat, it has to be Pokemon meat.
Yeah. Well, and
Unless they're cannibals and they're eating people. But I mean,
that'd be all right too. You failed. You're 21 years old and you haven't gotten all 8 badges yet. Fucking get in the fire. Number 2, they eat slow poke tails. I want to say
that's the one thing they've ever put in kind of the in-game lore that I can remember. There might be other things that are here and there, like trash. You and I talked about this not too long ago about Pokedex entries, and that some of the Pokedex entries are really, really out there, and there might be references in some of those.
There is. Magikarp has an entry where it says something along the lines of the most useless Pokemon ever, but is cherished for its meat, its high quality meat or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Wasn't there a reference in, I don't remember if it was the anime or it was the game, but there was Taro steaks. I'm pretty sure it was the anime.
I can see that being the anime, especially the English
I
translation. You remember that?
Yeah.
Fucking when the onigiri, the rice cake, is rolling down the hill, and in English, holy fuck, a jelly donut, says Brock as he picks it up.
I thought it was a giant sandwich that was rolling down.
I don't even remember. Maybe I'm getting. I swear to God, I remember fucking onigiri and fucking Brock going, holy shit, jelly donut's my favorite. Misty, come give me a kiss, you slut.
Wow.
You know? What about you, Zex? What would you eat or drink? Would you eat and execute?
I don't think so.
What about the egg Blissey carries? Would you eat that?
Yeah. That
Yeah.
looks like an ostrich egg. I'd eat an ostrich egg.
It looks really
Never
clean
had one
too.
before.
Looks
Yeah,
well.
it's been like a fucking execute that's been rolling around in dirt for who knows how long.
All cracked up and angry.
It's been nestled in a chancy, nice and clean, taken care of. I can eat that. I can do that.
And here's the thing too with execute, each egg has eyeballs and shit, so you got to imagine there's not a lot of yolk. It's probably just a lot of organs. Like it'd probably be like eating balut. You know those eggs they cook?
It out.
Yeah, the chicken eggs they cook underground where they it's all rotten. The chicken inside. It's probably what it'd be like eating execute.
Is that German? That's German, isn't it? It's like German fermented. It's like a delicacy. Like they put them underground for like 100 years or some disgusting shit. I don't know.
Germans do eat feces off of coffee tables, so I could see it being a German thing. Sure. I thought it was more Spanish, balut, por favor. But I don't know. Ever see too Spanish? They do the cow's head underground. They leave a whole cow's head underground. They pick it and they just scrape it off the. Fuck.
I think I saw that in Bizarre Foods.
Yeah, that's heavy. Man, that's heavy as shit. Yeah, I think you were talking about earlier when you talk about 100 years, century eggs.
Is that it? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah,
I don't know the name of it.
Like balut is the one where it's got a chicken inside it, and then they put it underground, so it's meat and egg. When you do century egg, used to be an egg stored in vinegar for a century, and it would turn black and green, and it was what it was.
I cannot even imagine what that smells like or what it would even taste like.
It tastes.
I want to throw up even thinking about it.
I've had it. I can bring the video up anytime. I've had it. It tastes like root beer, but
what the fuck?
It does. It tastes like root beer, but the smell is indescribable. Because I remember taking it and I'm sitting there and I'm not smelling it. I broke it in half to see inside. The inside was a little runny yet. The rest is all rubbery. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm regretting this. And I popped it in and I had 2 good chews of root beer. And I'm like, all right, okay, it's pretty fucking good. And then because I was biting into it, the smell got released. And I can't even describe, like, it was indescribable. I remember panicking, trying, like, because I wasn't going to waste it. I'm poor. So I wasn't going to spit in the face. This is a lovely gift my teacher was giving me. So I choked it down, right? And I run for my Arizona Arnie Palmer, and I start chugging out of it. And the smell was so bad, I didn't drink Arnie Palmer till today. It's been like 7 years.
Holy shit.
It's so fucking bad. It's so bad. And it's like, oh, maybe you had a bad century egg. What the fuck is a good century egg? What the fuck are you talking?
I can't picture anything being good being 100 years old.
Well,
except for maybe like scotch or wine. And wine, I think, turns into vinegar eventually, right?
Well, yeah, wine eventually just, exactly turns into fucking shoe polish fucking after a while. But yeah, I could imagine a good scotch or a woman, 100 years, pretty good age as well. No. What was I gonna say? No, but it sucks though. Cheap century eggs, because they got to make them quick now because everyone loves them. There's so many people in China, where they're mainly from. What they did for a while there in like the 40s was they would go to all boys schools and collect their piss out of the trough and put the eggs in that. And so nowadays, because it goes quicker than vinegar, so nowadays they use horse piss. An authentic century egg spends like 20 years in horse piss as opposed to 100 years in vinegar. So that's knowledge. You guys come here for the dirty jokes.
Been fine never knowing that ever. And now I will never unknow that.
All about efficiency in the process.
Exactly. They cut some corners. It's organic. I'm sure it's vegan friendly. It's good stuff. Well, I don't know, eggs.
Is it? No, wait. I mean, first of all, that's an egg. So no.
Yeah, no, the egg.
Second of all, I mean, you're using an animal product,
but not harmfully.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't matter whether it's harmful or not. I think it's anything that I don't know. I'm not vegan.
I thought veganism was all about protecting the animals, helping them out. So I figured, that's how come it's no cheese, and because you're chaining them up and squeezing their tits, which sounds like, I mean, I know women who pay for that. I mean, I don't see the problem there, but it's what are you guys laughing about? But yeah, no,
Are you sure they're not hurting the horses mentally?
Piss in this bucket. I just want to piss in the hay. No, horse. Fucking, can you imagine trying to aim that you got like one of those old metal pails, like Three Stooges metal pails, and you're grabbing the horse by its two legs trying to aim it up, like fucking get in a bucket. What a fucking job that would be, huh? You would hope that guy
Piss
has
catcher.
benefits. Yeah, the piss catcher. He wears a.
Why am I? I'm thinking about Kingpin all of a sudden. I don't know why.
He fucking. The piss catcher has to put on like an umpire mask to get shadowed. He's fucking. Holy shit. There's some awful jobs out in the world. I saw a very interesting thing. It was. It might have been the Philippines, but that doesn't seem right. It was one of those island Asian countries, the smaller ones, which sounds what it sounds, but I just can't remember it. And what they did, they had a thing. It was called like mukbags or something like that. Not mukbang, mukbags. And what they do is all this fast food and food that gets thrown out winds up in these special bags that go to the dump. And then there's guys who sit at the dump and then get the fucking these leftovers and go through and they make food out of this fast food refuse and then resell that for like 25 cents or whatever equivalency. So they're making a profit off garbage. Poor people are getting food. It was really good, but at the same time, seeing a guy pick gristle off a KFC leg and mix it in with like a half a bun from McDonald's into a soup was also very disheartening to watch. But it's interesting. You gotta love that entrepreneurship. Like what Aurethious was saying, anything to streamline a dollar.
I'm like torn on that. I'm glad they're recycling food, but also it's disgusting. So I don't know.
You wouldn't have that?
I don't know. I don't know.
A burger some guy
Yeah.
chewed on and then threw like the crust away, mixed with a fucking half a donair, mixed into a soup.
Probably not.
No.
But no.
Would you have?
I don't think so.
Would you have that, or would you rather have like spiders? You ever see how they do spiders on roadside stops, like tarantulas at their barbecue?
Okay, I wouldn't do spiders, but I have seen the like crickets and stuff that they do in Mexico. Those don't look that bad.
No,
I like crunchy things. So I don't know.
I would. I would probably rather eat a spider than a cricket. A spider probably has meat on them. They're pretty big. A cricket, I imagine, would be like eating, I don't know. It'd be like a crispy shell and then nothing but goo on the inside. And I couldn't get behind. You can cover that fucker in chocolate or whatever. I don't think I'm going to get behind it. You know? That's what I'm
I didn't say I would enjoy it. But if I had to eat a bug,
couldn't even eat
I would eat a cricket.
Here's the thing too. Here's maybe a shitty way of thinking that might ruin you for the rest of your life. But seafood is just insects. It's just giant insects, right?
I love seafood.
Exactly. I love fucking crabs and shrimp. Guess what? Those are like spiders, man. They ain't crickets. You know? There's no water fucking crickets, that's for sure. Or I guess maybe a lobster might be. Lobster does look kind of
a shrimp
crickety.
is fairly close to a water cricket.
Yeah, and shrimp are fucking good.
Shrimp are really
I
good.
love a good fucking shrimp. Holy shit, do I. Eel's really good too, huh?
I love eel.
Yeah, it's very light. You know how they always say it tastes like chicken? And it's like, fuck you. Chicken doesn't taste like that.
Doesn't taste like that.
Eel's pretty close to chicken. It's like a watery chicken. You know?
I'll get sushi rolls with eel on them all the time because it's so good. I love it.
Yeah, I'll go to a sushi joint. Fuck tuna, fuck salmon. It'll all just be squid, eel, any weird shit I can get on there. Just because I'm like, look, I'm adventurous. I'm not racist.
I'll eat whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Look at me. I'm open. Man, oh man. See, look at that. Look at the places we go to. We started with.
I say, did we want to get back to the top 3
game?
Sure. You were on number 2 of 3, I believe, Aurethious.
So yeah, so we'll. So
it's weird.
You're welcome for the tangent causing Pokemon reference there, but so I during the conversation I thought of 2 better options. So
Go ahead.
City of Heroes, Chrono Trigger, which
Ooh.
I always put as one of my favorite RPGs of all time. I always struggle between that and either like Final Fantasy 8 or 10 as one of my favorites.
Not 7.
But I always go back to Chrono Trigger because it's the RPG I've played through its entirety more than any other. So I have to give it to that one.
Is number 2 is not really connected to number 1, is it?
Chrono Cross.
Yeah.
It's like set way in the future from the original, but like it's mostly its own. There are like there are references. I've never gone through Chrono Cross its entirety. I played probably like the first maybe like 20% of it.
Sure.
But from what I understand, there's like references to characters from the original, and I think there's actually a couple of them actually even show up in the game. But it's not. You can play Chrono Cross and have never played Chrono Trigger, and it's not like you'd be missing anything.
I have Chrono Trigger now, a physical copy. Look, I'm legal. A physical copy of it, and I just can't get myself motivated to do it. I just can't. There's something about it. I don't know what it is. If it's going back, because I mean, I'm kind of youngish. My Final Fantasy, my RPGing started right when it started turning 3D. So going back to pixels has always been like a weird wall for me. Like, we were talking about.
It's hard for some people because I mean you're very. I always refer to you as kind of the PS1 guy.
Oh no,
because that's you know more about PlayStation 1 games than I think anybody I've ever met.
I agree with that.
What a title!
Well, that's
No,
a
it's
good
not.
thing.
It's not bad. It's a symptom of kind of when you grew up and what you primarily grew up with. Like me, the NES and the 16-bit era games are what I grew up on, so I
Right.
gravitate more towards those for nostalgia reasons. And so shameless plug here on the podcast episode that I released today,
Yep.
where I talked to Kagone. He just finished Final Fantasy VI recently, and that's one of my favorite. I love Final Fantasy VI, so I wanted his opinion. I'm like, oh, now that you've gone through it, like, what did you think of it? And one of the first things he enjoyed it, but one of the first things he said was it doesn't hold a candle to Final Fantasy VII. And so like, it's that whole idea. If that sweet spot for you was that PlayStation era and more of the 3D games, going back to the 2D games sometimes is hard for people. But for me, I grew up on that stuff, so it's like that's my jam.
Well, yeah, and
This is one of the. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. I got it in my
This
head.
is one of the funny things about how our ages are staggered because Aurethious is the oldest of us, and
Yeah.
he gravitates towards those. I am right in the middle between both of you guys.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not sure how old Lad is, but I
He's
think
the youngest.
Lad's around your age, right?
I'm the youngest out of the group here.
Yeah, he's like 3
Okay,
years younger than me.
I played a lot of stuff when it transitioned from 2D to 3D, so I like both. Now I prefer 3D because I was I think I was around, I don't know, 13 or so when it really started taking off with the 3D stuff.
That sounds about
Especially
right.
one of those weird
still-
Mario 64 guys.
Ooh, oh, fucker!
Ooh,
I was waiting for this to come up too.
That's gonna come up. We're oh my god, there's so many topics I've got to cover now. Go ahead, finish your thought.
I really enjoyed a lot of the 2D games that I played on. Like my main system that I played the most of probably was the Sega Genesis because I was really young when I had a NES, so I was like six years old when we got our first NES.
Sure.
And then when I really started gaming a lot, I was playing on the Genesis, which was a lot of Sonic and stuff. And then I hopped up to the N64 and the PS1 and played a lot of the 3D games when they started coming out, like Metal Gear Solid and that kind of stuff. So like
Good.
I appreciate all of the 2D and 3D games, and I don't mind going back and playing the 2D games. And I've actually been pleasantly surprised by going back and playing some of the 2D games that I never played, like A Link to the Past. That was an awesome game. I really loved that game.
Some more
Even though I
Zelda.
never played it, I don't have nostalgia for it. So,
But wait a sec, do you not? You say you don't have nostalgia for it, but you do have nostalgia for Zelda.
no, I didn't. I never played the first Zelda game that I actually liked was Breath of the Wild, and that was the first one. That one made me go back and play all the other ones.
And, in fairness, that game is like 7 years old.
Yeah, but it's the most recent Zelda game.
Sure. Unfortunately,
If it
sir.
hadn't been for me actually enjoying Breath of the Wild, I would have never gone back and played all the other Zeldas because the only one I played before Breath of the Wild was Twilight Princess on the Wii, and it was fucking horrible. I hated it.
I played one. I believe it was A Link to the Past. It was 2D. I think the princess was asleep or something. I don't remember. And I remember giving it 45 minutes on stream, giving it a hard shot, and boy, could I not give a fuck. It sucked.
Tom probably pressured you into doing that, didn't he?
No, it was after.
Wait. Are we talking Link to the Past, or are we talking Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link? Are we talking NES or SNES? Because Zelda 2 is the one. It starts with for the princess is asleep in the temple, and
he's right.
The whole concept of Zelda 2 is you have to wake her up. Because that's a Zelda Adventure of Link is a very polarizing game. Most people who are Zelda fans don't like that one at all, because it's such a departure from most other Zelda games that they've ever done.
Nah, then it can't be it. Maybe I did Ocarina of Time or something. I don't know. I remember it was the one that people most wanted. Like people were going fucking nuts. It's the best one ever made.
It's probably Link to the Past then. If it's a 2D Zelda game and that's like the. I mean, a lot of people will say that's their either their favorite or the best SNES game of all time.
That's what a lot of people were saying when I was playing it, and boy, did I let them down. That was early days when I was still trying to impress people, when I was still trying to like make content for that others enjoy. You know? Oh, you're gonna play this game? Sure, I'll give it a shot. 45 minutes later, I wanted to fucking hang myself on stream. It would have been more entertaining, probably. Fucking awful, dreadful game.
Just play the CDI Zeldas.
That's the good Zelda.
Oh God!
Everyone
I
loves
want
to
shake your head.
I don't know if I could do it. I don't think I could do it.
Why? What about those games are fucking you up, son?
I don't know. Just the way the game plays, it doesn't look like that thing. Like, but I would try it at least. I'd give it a stream.
I'd give it a go. Because you know what? Ready for this? Yeah, it's got bad animation or whatever. It looks genuinely funny, even past the bad. Like it's funny. It looks funny. Oh boy, I can eat an Octorok or whatever the fuck he says. Like all that. It looks funny as shit. They're having fun with it. Good on Philips. That was Philips.
They tried.
They did their best. They did the 2 CDI Zeldas, and then they did a Mario game. But it was
Mario.
Yeah, Hotel Mario, exactly. And it was like a puzzle fucking game where you just ride elevators, and it fucking stunk. But good on them for getting the license to do that shit. You know? They were one of the only companies in like all of history not Nintendo affiliated to get Nintendo licenses. But I was just going to point out there's some really, going back to like the Chrono Trigger and stuff, there's some really interesting 2D RPGs I'll play. And yet I just something about Chrono, can't do it. Same thing too with Final Fantasy 6 you brought up. I got fucking 3 hours into Final Fantasy 6. And I think I was playing it on my phone legally, I'm sure. And I fucking literally just dropped my phone and said, "Nope." That's just out loud. I was in my work lunchroom, and just everyone's like sitting there quietly reading, and I just dropped my phone loud. They go, "Nope." And everyone's, what the fuck is that? That was it. I never touched it again. Although I did see others play it, like Aurethious on stream. It looked fun. Oh, the music, she's singing at the orchestra and shit. Everything's great. Nope.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VI was the first ever video game soundtrack that I went out and purchased.
Yeah.
When I started realizing that was a thing that you could do, I had it. It was a three CD that I imported from Japan.
Sure. I can see that. There's some great, even on the older ones, man. There's some great. Nobuo Uematsu does good work. Like I own 13, the official 13 soundtrack, which is not Nobuo Uematsu before anyone jumps down my throat, but it's fucking good. Hitoshi Sakamoto does good work. That motherfucker did. I've been playing. We're now so fucking far off tangent. I've been playing Valkyria Chronicles 4 just yesterday. I just started playing it. Oh, it's so good. It's so good to be back. Valkyria Chronicles, the first one for the PS3, was one of the greatest RPGs I've ever played, ever. Right? Just fantastic game. Art's great, music's great, story's great. Fuck, everything's great about it. Amazing game. And then they made number 2, and it was PSP exclusive, and you're like, ew. And then they made 3, and I don't know what console they made it on. Maybe for like fucking, I don't know what the fuck they made it on. I can't find it anywhere.
Yes.
Is it a 3D? I was gonna believe you for a half a second. I was gonna 3DS. No, I'm sure it was Vita only or some shit. Like I can't find it. And then going back to number 4, and it's pretty fucking close to number 3. It's so good. But that music is done by Hitoshi Sakamoto as well. Just really good producer.
I don't think I've ever seen that game.
Valkyria Chronicles, you got. I swear it is. Like we're talking top 3 games. It probably makes my top 3. The first one. It's fucking good. It's so good, man.
So apparently, 3 was only on the PSP.
Oh, it was PSP as well? What the fuck? I'd never saw. Was it Japan only? Did it make it across?
Yes, Japan only.
See,
That's why you can't find it.
Exactly. I could not find any proof. I own the second one too, legally. I gotta say that now. No, I own the second one too, and yeah, it's a PSP version of the first one, which is obviously downscaled quite a bit. So it's so good. Number 4, it's fantastic. It's full. The only thing I don't like it being a newer game, and this is dangerous territory, but there's a lot of modern political dialogue.
That's the thing I feel like when you talk about kind of some of the more modern stuff that
Yeah.
feels like it needs to be. I don't want to say woke because I hate that term.
Yeah.
But just that idea of like, oh, we're we are we're hip to social justice ideas and all these different things going on, and if you can create a story that incorporates that stuff in a natural way and you want to tell that story, great. If you're putting that in because it's like buzzwords, now it's just like, what are you doing? Like, because like I always go back to one of my favorite parts of Final Fantasy X
Okay.
was kind of the overlying story of religion and the idea of blindly following a religion and not questioning it.
Sure.
And it didn't. Nothing in that felt. It just felt like the story they wanted to tell, and I just always enjoyed that story. So if you take something and you make it naturally part of your storytelling, that's fine. But when you start just saying, okay, well, so this is something that people are talking about these days. How can we slap this into? Oh, we got this card game. Let's talk about racism. Like what?
Nothing makes you feel more dated than a very short political message in your fucking game. Something that was hot for like a year or so. Like that. Not to cut you off, Valkyria Chronicles 1 has a lot of there's a group, a race in the game of people called Darksons, right? And they're kind of representative of Jewish people because it's a World War II spoof, right? As a lot of good army games are from Japan. And so they're the Darksons, and it's great because there's people who hate them, people fighting for them, and it's handled very fucking well. You do root for them, you understand some are bad, some are traitors. It's great. It's just a great story. I'm playing number 4 here. I'm only like 7 hours in. And already there was one guy, Darkson again, and he's looting a dead body. And some girl comes with her and says, "Hey, don't do that." "Fuck off, kid. I'll do what I want." And then a third character comes up and said, "Listen, people say he steals from dead bodies. And so if that's a stereotype, he's just going to do it, baby." I'm like, what the fuck am I playing? Is that really the political message we want here? What is this? That's not what they were doing back in World War II. That has nothing to do with World War II. What the fuck is going on? It's very,
Wow.
It was handled very poorly, but you could tell someone on the English side was like, hey, let's make this less about prosecution, all this, and let's do it, like you were saying, more Twitter politics. Yeah, so it's very unfortunate on that part. The gameplay though is still great, number 4 so far. So we shall
Listen,
see.
if you don't like the story that they're telling you, you're just a bigot.
This is it. We learned that with Last of Us 2. If you don't like this game, you're a fucking racist.
I was waiting. I knew Last of Us 2 was going to come up. And as soon as you started talking about this, I was like, here it comes. It's coming. There it is.
But Last of Us 2 had the same thing happen to it that's happened with like Eternals and the Ghostbusters 2016 and all that, where it was it fought criticism, by hiding under like politics that were like whatever. And it took it the next level. It really juiced on the politics shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. Zex sitting here just fuming because he loved that game. It's in his top 3. We haven't got to his top 3 yet, but it's there. Number 2.
Actually, not my top 3.
Yeah, it is. You liked it though, didn't you?
I thought it was okay. I like the first one way better.
I remember you liking it a lot more than what you're playing up here.
No,
Fair enough.
I thought it was okay.
What is your...
watch the end of my stream when I beat it. I was like, okay, it was fine.
Yeah. I remember that too. You smashed a controller and then you held up a Confederate flag. I remember that stream.
Did I?
Okay.
Okay.
Good stream.
Blew a hole in my ceiling with a shotgun.
Yeah, exactly.
Get back to his roots.
Yeah, exactly. I thought this was from America. Blow the fucking drywall patch out. That'll show them.